Good morning.
How are you?
All right, and yourself?
I'm good. How was your week?
It was busy, but good. I know yours was.
You good? Look, you already know. The week was weeking, full of travel, full of adventures, full of foolishness. It was all the things. It was everything I needed it to be, and then some. Crazy,
Huh?
crazy work. But it was great. It was great. I had a good time. It was actually a good week. Busy and I'm exhausted, but I actually had a really good week this week.
Good.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Yeah, we're gonna have a time will be had today in the meeting after the meeting. That's all I got. Time will be had. All right. Well, let's get this party started. Okay, I told y'all every time I come in here on StreamYard, I got something new. So now they got this little teleprompter thing. Well, it's only allowing me so many. I don't know how many characters I'm supposed to do. Allow me, but it's only allowing me so many, and I'm feeling some kind of way because let me get all my stuff in here. Well, why are you playing? But nevertheless, I'll go ahead and do what I need to do with what I got. But it's cute. I love it. I love it. StreamYard for the win. I want to know they have stock because I will be putting stock in StreamYard. Anyway, I digress. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome to the Saturday morning tea. Here we brew up the hottest topics in healthcare. We discuss health information, news, education, uh, the week, stock, certification tips, entrepreneurship, and the revenue cycle at large. And as you come in, don't forget to hit the thumbs up or like button. I'm Clarice Warner. I'm the girl with the pearls, the founder and senior education director of the Professional Reimbursement Network, LLC, where coding education is key. And PRN is a healthcare compliance consultancy located in Cincinnati, Ohio, that specializes in revenue cycle and regulatory compliance in education. And let me ask, do you know what it takes to be a certified, marketable medical coder? Do you? Well, before I introduce my co host, let me share with you information on a free email course on the 5 steps to become a certified, marketable medical coder. Are you interested in medical coding, but not sure where to start? And scared of wasting time and resources? Let me help you with the right steps to become a certified, marketable medical coder. Learn more at bit.ly/5stepscoder. I'm just in a dancing mood. I'm sorry. All these beats dropping and it's hit me. It's hit me and it's hit me. So if you're interested in getting more information about the 5 steps to become a certified, marketable medical coder, check the video description for the link. All right, all right. Joining me today is my partner in success, my co host, Mr. Jesse, the registered trademark. Put some respect on his name, the coding nurse. Sir, introduce yourself and tell the folks all about you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jesse. I live in Philadelphia. I've been in healthcare for decades. In 2014, I left the bedside and started working as a risk adjustment auditor during the pandemic. In 2020, I created a company, the Coding Nurse LLC, where I help nurses and other people in healthcare with a clinical background transition into the wonderful world of HIM.
Mm-hmm. And how's that working?
It's coming along.
Yes, yes. I love it. Well, before we jump in, let me remind you that you can join in and add to the conversation. Don't be shy. Your opinion matters and is welcomed here. So, friends, please use the chat, whatever platform you are on. Just use the chat. We'll see it, and we'll chime and pick you up, and put your comments in, and do all of the things for you. If you have a question for us, the only thing we ask is you type Q first so that we know it is a question for us and we don't miss it. Because sometimes the chat chats and you always talking amongst yourselves, and we don't want to mess up y'all little flow, what y'all got going on. So all right, all right. Let's see, let's see. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see who we got in the room. Good morning from Winter Springs, Florida. All right now, Winter Springs. That sounds like oxymoron, but yeah, all right now for Florida. But all right, welcome, welcome. All right, let's see. She finally caught it live. Yay! Welcome, welcome. All right, okay. Let's see. So, for those who are just joining us or watching the replay, today we are talking HIM leadership from certified to confident. All right, all right. But first, let's get into a little of our church announcements, shall we? Yes, we can. Hey, 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 hey. I gotta have a little devotional before we get started.
Mm.
Yes, yes. I'm our guest, like, what in the world is really happening up here with y'all? It's a whole vibe. It's a whole vibe.
And sadly, pretty soon, it's the only place you're going to be. We're going to be able to get no stamps, no nothing.
Here we go. And the tea is ready. Oh, goodness. Yes. Get it. I need my double clap. Yes. All right, all right. So the only, oh wait, I'm like, why is it not going down? See, I've been this all the time. They put this applause thing in here above where my music is, and I be hitting the wrong slider. Anyway, so the only announcement I had today was, well, one, I didn't realize, I guess last week was National Case Management Week. So happy week to all the case management people out there in the world. Yay. You part of the family too. So
That's right.
I hope you had a happy week. Not too stressful with all the things you had going on. But I saw this article from David Glazier, who's an attorney, and he tickles me and cracks me up when I hear him talk. But he had the most comprehensive thoughts on the 2 midnight rule and inpatient versus observation. And I was like, where were you when I'm working in the compliance office beating everybody over the head with this, because it could all be so simple, right? And he took this summation that he put together was so simple to me. But he talks about, so if you're not familiar, the 2 midnight rule, which is at 42 CFR 412.3, it says an inpatient admission is generally appropriate for payment under Medicare Part A when the admitting physician expects the patient to require hospital care that crosses 2 midnights. So they have to stay over 2 midnights. So as soon as the physician expects that a Medicare patient's hospital stay to last through a second midnight, the physician should order inpatient admission. Now, the thing that usually trips folks up is because they think about hospital care versus observation care as levels of care. And they're not levels of care at all. They're statuses. So you're either in an observation status or you're in an inpatient status. Observation is still considered outpatient. Only inpatient stuff is when you get an inpatient admission, then you move over into the inpatient realm. So it's really, I think, understanding that piece that made it seem so simple to me. And in his article, which think I linked, I think I linked it in the description. If I didn't, I'll make sure I put it there. It just gives some really good and comical conversation about that. So I just wanted to share that. Um, what else is going on? I can't. AHIMA 25 has come and gone. That's all I got. Until the meeting after the meeting. No, but it was a good time. Oh, but next year there it's going to be in San Antonio, Texas. So if you are interested in AHIMA 26 and the conventions, you heard it here first. Well, probably second, but you heard it here that the actual convention next year will be in San Antonio, and then 28, I believe, is going to be in Phoenix. So you heard that here first, because anybody was talking about 28, but it's going to be in Phoenix. So get your coins together. Get your coins together. All right, Mr. Jesse, you have any announcements?
No.
No. Okay.
Actually, I don't. No.
Look, don't make me find an announcement and pull it out of you. All right. Let me get rid of the stuff. Our announcement period is over. Thank you all for indulging. We appreciate you. Good morning, Tanika. Good morning. All right. So let the tea spilling begin. So welcome back to the Saturday Morning Tea, where we serve up the real talk our profession needs. I'm Clarice Warner, the girl with the pearls, with my partner in success, the coding nurse. Now grab your favorite mug of whatever it is that you get. Now I got my tea, and it's hot. It's hot. So grab your favorite mug of whatever, and let's have a conversation that honestly could change the trajectory of your career. So today's topic is HI leadership, from certified to confident. Now, sometimes I think about how this whole journey in health information could all be so simple if we just had the right guidance from the start. So today we're diving into something that I know hits home for so many of you listening and watching. That transition from being the technical expert everybody comes to with coding questions and looking for advice and information, to becoming the confident leader who shapes the entire department's vision. Think about that. So I am absolutely thrilled to introduce today's guest. Yes, we have a guest, y'all. We have a guest. So be on your best, right? No, I'm kidding. We have a guest. She's someone who's not only walks the walk in the HI community, but has dedicated her career to lifting other women, and I guess men too, up along the way through her leadership consulting and coaching. So please join me in giving the warmest Saturday morning tea welcome to Dr. Japera Barnes. Yay!
Hey, everybody. Good morning to y'all. Listen.
Yay!
I appreciate this. It is delightful to be here this morning. Wow.
Well, welcome to the fun. I know it's early, but we have to do something to make it fun because it's early. You see that?
Go ahead.
You see Mr. Jesse over there yawning, so you know it's early.
Yeah.
Me and Jesse matching this morning a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, normally I be tuned in. I didn't even get the memo, but it complements. The blue complements that, so it looks good. It looks good.
Yeah.
All right, child. So Dr. Barnes is a powerhouse in our field. She holds a PhD in educational leadership. She's a practicing RHIA, and she's a professor of health information with over a decade of experience in healthcare and higher education. But here's what I love most about her story. She's built a thriving leadership consulting practice specifically focused on empowering women in healthcare to break barriers and lead with confidence. As an international speaker and leadership consultant, she delivers inspiring keynotes and transformative workshops that help women step boldly into their leadership potential. She also works closely with organizations like the Qualified to support their mission of advancing HR professionals. Her new book, Winning in Leadership: 8 Strategies to Unlock Your Personal Power and Lead with Confidence, specifically addresses the struggles we all face as women and men in our field. And get this, family, she's married to Edric, and together they founded a nonprofit called Purposed Paths that provides mentorship and scholarships to underserved youth. I am so excited about that. I mean, talk about living out your values. Dr. Barnes, welcome to the Dr. Tapir, welcome to the Saturday morning tea. How are you doing this beautiful morning?
I'm
Sleepy?
doing wonderful. Yes, I am sleepy, and I got a whole story behind why I'm sleepy, y'all. But I'm so excited to be here. I pressed my way through this morning.
Hey.
But this
Yes.
is good. I bought my tea, Clarice. I bought my tea, Jesse, just in case I need to put a little something. It's for me, this a little bit of throat soothing tea.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It helps me as well because I'll be sounding like Barry when I first get be like, what's up? Everybody in the house be like, really? I was like, let me go get my tea. Oh, that's what's up. What's up? They laughing at me. It says you need to be on your best behavior. And they're welcoming you. Welcome, welcome. And good morning. Good morning. Yes, yes. I love it. All right, all right. So this is let me start here because your journey really fascinates me, all the things that you have going on. So you've built this incredible leadership consulting practice, and you're speaking at conferences and coaching women individually, but you started as a practicing RHIA. Yay. So you were definitely in the family. So talk to me about that transition and what made you realize there was such a need for leadership development, specifically in our health information community.
Yeah, for sure. So, like you're right. I started as an RHIA, and in my first, I guess we'll jump right on into the story time if that's all right. Tea
All
time.
right, story time. Let me get my tea.
When I first started, like of course I went through, formal education, got my bachelor's degree in health informatics and information management from the one and only Florida A&M University. Let's be clear.
All right.
Okay, this morning while we're jumping in, all right?
All right.
The reason why I'm tired because it's FAMU's homecoming.
Homecoming, yes, HBCU. Hey.
So we back and forth to Tallahassee. So, but anyway, so when I graduated, right, like it took a while for me to find a position. So I can relate to people who are recent graduates and they trying to find a job and they want something good, but they say I got to have experience, but I don't have the experience, all this kind of stuff, right? I totally can relate to that. So I just started simple. I started as a registrar, the same thing that I did while I was in college. So once I graduated, I just continued that. I said, well, I know I can get a job, doing admissions in the ER. And so I did do that for a while until another position came open that was as a financial counselor. And that sounded so fancy to me. It was financial counselor at a behavioral health organization. And I said, I don't know if I meet the qualifications for this because it's titled like I didn't go to school for accounting and all of those things. So when I tapped into the job description, it actually met the same requirements as I was already doing in my registrar and admissions assistant type of work. So I'm like, okay, bet, I'm on it. So I apply for the job, get the job, and within a year, they needed someone to run the health information management department. And I got asked to do it.
Look at God, how you set all of that up.
God, a divinely ordered and orchestrated type of thing to where I was in the right place at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
And so getting into that role, I'm taking y'all way back to the beginning, but getting into that role was extremely nerve-wracking for me. I did it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And I got into it, but that was my first time in a leadership position, like a formal leadership title.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was my first time working in HIM. I didn't work as a medical records, nothing prior to that. It was just the textbook knowledge, right?
Right. Right.
So I'm getting into this department and I'm young at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at these people, they're seasoned, not just in age, but in experience.
Yes.
And they looking at me like, who you? Coming in here trying to, you are over us now. So that created this dynamic in the team and in my department that I had no idea how to handle, because they don't teach you about that in school. You learn the technical stuff, and then all of that people stuff you got to try to figure out on your own, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
found myself trying to navigate leadership and learn how to do HIM in real life. And it was just a experimental time. It was a walk by faith. I heard the church announcements. I mean, I'm talking to people of faith this morning.
That's right.
Okay. It was a walk by faith every day. All right. Because I
Mm.
had no idea what I was doing. So I'm just trial and error, figuring things out. And I needed guidance so bad. I needed mentorship. I needed help that I didn't even know I needed. I didn't know where to go and who to get it from. And so as I went throughout my time in leadership, even transitioning from HIM, going into higher education, I came to this point where it was like, I want to help other people who are going through these same types of experiences, going through leadership and feeling alone. They have the title, but they feel like they don't even know where to go to get the help that they need. And so that was a part of my drawing to get into consulting work and leadership development. What it was a lot of it was based off of what I experienced myself. Most of it, I would say, all of it was based off of what I experienced. So that's how I transitioned into this type of work.
Nice.
It's just a desire to pour back into folks.
Well, that's so powerful, and I always look for the simple things, because I believe, and I say it all the time, it could all be so simple. But if we just recognized early that, and you said it, you hit the nail on the head, that technical expertise and leadership readiness are really two different skill sets, and one we may get the formal training for, but the other not so much. And I love that you didn't just, identify what the problem was that you experienced in your transition into the leadership role, but you built a whole consulting practice around that solution. So, and Mr. Jesse, to jump in at any time.
I think you're going where I want to go. So go ahead.
Okay, so through your coaching work with your partnerships with organizations like the Qualified, you've worked with countless HR professionals. What patterns do you see in folks who struggle to transition from those technical roles to leadership positions?
I think mainly just that, like they don't feel prepared for the role. And so I find that a lot of people shy away from leadership because it seems intimidating, because they're like, oh, I got to be over people. I have to learn that people skill or develop those relationships and stuff like that. And let me tell you, people can be a mess. People can be a trip. I remember finding this study and reading this study where over 70,000 leaders were interviewed, right? And they were asked to identify their top challenges. These were not just people in HIM. These were people in all industries and who had experience from early on, just starting out leaders to seasoned, like C-suite leaders, right?
Yes.
So they were asked to identify what are some of your biggest challenges? And do y'all know that there were 3 areas that came up? And one of the top ones was people. Dealing with people. So I call it the leadership trifecta of challenges, right?
Okay.
So I break it down, right? So the top 3 challenges were what I call me. So issues within the self, like struggles with confidence, speaking up, insecurities, feeling inadequate, imposter syndrome, those types of things. And then the second one was what I call them, where the finger points out now. It's not me, it's the people, right? And so they say, I've heard people even say this, if it wasn't for people, leadership would be easy for me. I'm saying, I get it. But the people, there would be no need for your leadership, right?
Absolutely.
So we got to learn how to overcome those challenges. And then the third one was like what I call us. So that's just looking at things from more of an organizational standpoint. And there are issues with like, getting processes streamlined and communicating across the organization, things like that. So I think one of the biggest challenges for people who are coming into leadership or who desire to is that they don't feel adequately prepared in that way to handle or deal with people. And then too, there may be some issues going on a lot of times on the inside that's stopping them. They don't feel like, they can do it. They don't feel like they know enough or have enough, things like that. But my encouragement would be to jump on out there, get what you need to feel equipped, but you got to jump out there at some point, and take that risk. Take that risk, rather.
Absolutely. Mr. Jessica?
Yeah, so my question is, so when it came to when you decided that you wanted to help people, what was your first step? Like, how did you get that started?
Oh, my first step was a challenge. I got plenty of stories for y'all. So this time and the story time and the Saturday morning early. You gotta let me know when to cut it off too, because tell me when we're supposed to be stopping. But
yes, ma'am.
As a challenge, Jesse, and everybody else who's listening. So I was in a position, another leadership position, and I just felt stuck. I felt like, I done tapped out, type of thing. I've gotten what I was supposed to get. My season is over in this role, right? And so that's how I started feeling. And I carried that feeling for a long time, y'all, like a couple years. So I finally, I was talking to one of my colleagues, really close colleagues. We shared office space. And so I said, you know what? I think it's time for a shift here, within my call in my area here. And so my coworker or my colleague said to me, you know what? You should start. I said, I'm thinking about doing some speaking and things like that. And he said, yeah, you should. You should start speaking. And this was around October-ish, right? Like November, October. And he said, I'm challenging you to get your first speaking engagement before the end of the year. And he said, even if it's with the students, because I was in higher education. So even if we put something together with students, I'm like, okay. I said, all right, I'll think about this. And so I went to thinking, what can I talk about? What experience do I have? What are the issues that I see going on? Where's my heart pulling me, right? And so I thought about all of the things that I was going through in my professional space. I thought about what did I have that I can share with other people and help them. And I came up with the topic. And he even said when I went back to him, I was like, okay, what about this? And he was like, yeah, but what about leadership? I said, oh, okay. Let me circle back around on this, right? So this is all within like an hour of time. So I go back to my space and I'm writing down everything I know and what comes out of my heart about leadership. And I go back to him, I say, okay, this is what I'm thinking, right? So he's like, oh my God, yeah, that's so good. So then he said, well, I'm gonna give you to the end of the year. This October, November, right? Like late October, early November. So I'm like, okay.
He hit you with a whole fourth quarter goal. How you
did? A speaking engagement. And I'm like, okay. And so how about by the end of the day, I had 2 speaking engagements.
Wow.
And what did I do? I just started reaching out to my contacts. I reached out to people, hey, do you need a speaker for this? And it worked out. And so that's kind of how it started. I think that I will say, Jesse, it started on the inside way before then, though. It started with that feeling of like, there's more for me. There's more for me to do. This is not it. I felt very stuck. I felt very capped and limited where I was, and like I had outgrown that space. And so I started really seeking God within myself to ask him, what else is it that you have for me? Because this is starting to feel like a routine. It's feeling dry. I'm feeling miserable in a sense. So I know there's more for me to tap into. And that's how it started. But my colleague came along and put some fire under my feet to help me step into action. Because meanwhile, I probably just would have kept circling and around in my head. You know how we do that sometimes, right?
Yes,
We got to
absolutely.
just ruminate on that thing forever, and we never actually move forward. So that would be the long story to that answering that question. Somebody say they're feeling that right now.
They feeling that right now.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you know what? This resonates so deeply because I think many of us in health information were taught that if we just did excellent work and if we knew our codes inside and out, opportunities would naturally follow. And even you mentioned once you got your certification, where the job? What's happening? Where's the stuff? And we run into that. But leadership, it requires a different kind of confidence, right? It's totally different. But let me ask you this, and this is something I hear from folks all the time. You mentioned in your book about not needing permission to be great.
Mm-hmm.
So for someone who's joining us, listening either live or to the replay, who's actually a coding supervisor, technically brilliant, but absolutely terrified of challenging a physician's documentation. What would be your first piece of advice?
My first piece of advice for that is so let me go to a lot of the work I do, and even the book that I've written, and even the talks that I give. It's not going to challenge so much what's going on the outside. What I'm challenging is what is happening on the inside of the individual. So when I think about that question, Clarice, my thought is, why are you afraid? Like, that's a question that has to be asked of yourself, not so much. I mean, what's going on? So if you're terrified to provide feedback or to ask these questions of these people who y'all are all on the same team, y'all supposed to be in this thing together, right?
That's
So
right.
why am I terrified? That's the question that I would have that person to ask themselves and really write down the answer and really go deep, because it might be some deep stuff going on.
Absolutely.
What are you anticipating? What unfavorable thing are you anticipating is going to happen if you ask this person to check this, or check themselves or resubmit? Do you think what's going on? You think you about to lose your job? You think you're gonna get rolled up? You think what's happening? And so I think going from there, identifying what's really going on and why you feel that fear to where you'll let it bypass and go on, or push it off and call somebody else to do it. I think identifying that barrier is one of the first steps. And then getting some tools. If it's just you don't know how to have that conversation with them, then that's where the tools can come in, to have that, to begin to have more or better conversations with people. So that's
I
what
love that. Yes, I love that. It's thinking about doing a self-check, doing a self-assessment on, why. I used to think all the time, they put their pants on just like I do. And and I'm here to help them. And, so having that self-assessment, I think that's great. Mr. Jesse, did you have anything you wanted to?
I do have a question. I have a twist. So
Here we go.
we've talked, like you've talked a lot about like people having the confidence to step up into leadership. What about people? Because I'll just speak for me. What about people like me? See, I don't have a problem with people, like actually, because I used to be a chart people, I can get along with people. My problem is management. Like once I get into that, like negotiating or learning those type of strategies, because when it comes to management, I'm a bull in a china shop. I'm going to tear it down. But with my coworkers or people I have to lead, they love me. I've never had a problem. But it's always management, because I am a cut and dry kind of person. Like, I don't like a whole lot of fluff. Like, just tell me what it is, what I got to do. I don't want to hear no. Like, I can peep the game, and I'm just not for it. So, how do you navigate that from not in a personal level, but in that part of leadership where you have to interact with people at your level and above?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. It's the same people skills. Your love for people is gonna take you a long way. So like your love for people, your ability to relate with your team members, those who you are responsible for leading, those same skills are gonna transfer over to your director or your VP or whoever else it is you have to report to. I think it's the same people skills. Is that what you're talking about, Jesse? Like having
Kind of, yeah.
with
But it don't, yeah, because it don't really be feeling like that.
I think it can. But what's causing that feeling though? Is it like irritation, or what is it? Having to report to them? Is it I don't need them breathing down my neck, trying to what is it that's causing that like itch?
You know, I'm gonna have to book a session. But
You done got a
but
client. You done got a
but
client in the fourth quarter.
no, but when you said irritation, because you know, I don't like foolishness. I
Okay.
don't like. I like for somebody to be straight, and it's like they want to, like, you know, like you know how people have that corporate speak, and
Yeah.
it's like, what are you saying? Like, what are you really saying? Like, that drives me.
Yeah. Well, people do that. That's fine. But you're relatable. And so because you're relatable, you have this beautiful gift to go in and have like conversations with them that tear down those walls, that stiffness, that rigidity. So that's why I say use the same relationship aspects or skills that you have with people that's regular, you know, that you'll talk to. Use those same thing with those people that's higher up, because they need that, because stuff is so stiff and they feeling like they got to be perfect, and they got to talk the talk and everything. Listen, I remember one day being in a board meeting. It was a meeting where all these directors, VPs, and the president of the company was there. And so I remember looking around. Of course, this was during my kind of earlier leadership time, and I felt intimidated in those meetings, right? Like I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to respond to these people. They were so much in my mind, so much higher than I was, right? Clarice said something, but they put pants on just like us, everybody else. So I remember the day that broke off me, that inferiority type of complex broke off me. When I looked around the table and they had some snacks, some cookies and things, and teas and coffees being, you know, available for the people. So I looked around the table, so people eating their little cookies and stuff, and they chatter, having to talk. And when I saw the president of the company, I ain't gonna call no names, Saints. When I saw this just tripped me out, y'all. This is small and petty, but it just broke everything I had going on. Like it just broke it. When I looked around and I saw the president of the company eating the cookies and whatnot, and then, you know, some crumbs had fell on the table, and the president, the boardroom table, the president, the crumbs, okay, they had the stuff, and they took their fingers and pressed down on the table to pick the crumbs up, and then put the crumbs like that. So I said, and I'm feeling inferior because of what now?
Right.
Now I know that's regular. People do that all the time. Okay.
That's beyond regular. That's regular.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
That's below regular. That's some lack of home training. That's a whole lot of things. But I don't even know how I would have went on. Like, excuse me, please go wash your hands. Don't touch me. No shaking it ain't nothing. No, we pound. If even that. No.
Listen, y'all know them boardroom tables don't be cleaned up like they
no. Somebody.
And I said, and now I would never eat the crumbs that fell from the master's table on the, you know, like I'm like. So I said I wouldn't do that, but so that just shattered that stiffness. I said, "Oh my God, these people regular." Let me tell you another time. That person with boogers. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I hope not. I hope not. So another thing was when I was, now this is regular too. So it takes regular stuff to start breaking that inferiority or that perfection and all of that.
Yes.
Here goes another thing that was regular. In another board meeting, right? All these VPs, all these kind of people around. And the person sitting beside me was a very high up person. And when I heard that person guts bubbling, I heard them. The gas moving around in their belly. And when I heard that, I said, these people regular, just like me. I don't have any reason to try to perform and fit into this fake mold that I got in my head. Like these regular, they eat cookies off the table and they got gas. What am I worried about? You know what I'm saying? So that's what broke that for me, Jesse, to be honest. Take them same people skills to the higher up because they need the help too. That's what I start realizing. People on the higher scale need a lot of realness because things just get so weird up there sometimes.
Yes. So I want to talk about something that's really, really exciting. You're launching a 4-week leadership development program designed specifically for women in HI professions through your consulting practice. Now, I'm sure this isn't just another management course, but you specifically mentioned that this is for women who lack confidence in their leadership role, feel overlooked for promotions, struggle to lead teams effectively, or want mentorship, but aren't getting it at work. Why is mentorship so challenging to find in our field?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think it is challenging to find, but I think the first part of it is the people who need mentorship don't know how to go about getting it. I think there are people who are willing to mentor, but it's some type of the conversations aren't being had enough, or someone's not reaching out. Mentors usually they usually don't. Now sometimes this is not like a 100% of the time, but most of the time a person who's mentoring, sometimes they don't go to you and say, hey, do you need mentorship? So the onus is on the person who needs the help. So most of the time people don't know they need help and they need it. Like me, I didn't even know I needed it so much. I just something, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And then that might be part of it. And then the other part of it is they just don't know how to have that conversation to ask someone who's on another level. There may be intimidation there. There may be all kinds of stuff there. They don't know how to have the conversation to ask someone if they'll mentor them. So I remember being in a position one time, and there was a leader who I absolutely admire, and they weren't necessarily so high up on the scale, but I really liked their style. I was drawn to their style. And so this wasn't my first leadership position. This was a little further down, but I was new to the position, right?
Okay.
I was new to that role. And I was just feeling like, oh my God, I need some help in here. This stuff is not clear. And so I just went to that person one day and I said, I started having a regular conversation with them. And she was like, okay, what's going on? How's everything going? I'm like, I'm feeling like this. I'm feeling like that. But eventually I said to her, would you mentor me? Would you be my mentor in this? And it was so simple like that. And she was happy to. And so I think that people who need the mentorship sometimes don't know how to have those conversations. It doesn't have to be the president of the company or the CEO or whoever. Ask your colleague that sit across from you. Especially if they have more experience or they're more seasoned or something like that. Get involved in organizations and ask the people who you see up, moving about. A lot of times these people want to help. People who have been in the profession want to help. So I just say have the conversations and don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah.
What y'all reading? Look like y'all reading something.
We listen. So and that's good. That's really good. So think about this, like for health information, bless you, health information professionals, managing a coding team through a productivity crisis is not the same as managing a sales team. I mean, there's some nuances there. We have such unique pressures with regulatory changes and audit findings and physician relations, and it's just a whole different world that we have to deal with in the business of healthcare. So speaking of those unique pressures, revenue cycle discussions can be intimidating for coding professionals. They know what they're supposed to be doing prayerfully they know the why of what they're supposed to be doing. That's a whole conversation. But when they get into that C-suite room or that board room, watching the person with their fingers in the crumbs, how do you help women confidently, or anyone? I know you're geared toward women, but there are men that are actually coming into the health information field.
Welcome.
Yay, love it. But how do you help them confidently enter those conversations and communicate their value beyond just we assign the right codes?
So like being in that setting and speaking up in meetings, is that what we're talking about?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I think that takes some time, some work, right? It takes a lot of practice too. And I say to people sometimes, if they have an issue with speaking up in meetings, I say, well, you don't have to go in giving a whole paragraph and trying to make yourself sound so smart, right? Like you don't have to, you don't. You know the knowledge though. So everything goes back to what is going on the inside of you. Everything goes back to building up how you feel and how you carry yourself and what you think about yourself on the inside. So if I'm feeling shoddy in a meeting, it's because I've rehearsed some type of narrative about how do these people see me? Oh, they looking down on me. Oh, well, they up here and I just do revenue cycle. So it's going back to, honey, what are you thinking? What's going on the inside of you? But if they really want just a quick tip, right, to start speaking up in meetings, just to exercise that muscle a little bit. You don't go into the gym and start benching 500 if you ain't benched in years.
You gonna kill yourself.
Start with 5 pounds, right? Right. So leave them big weights alone for right now. Don't worry about trying to over-explain yourself. How about this? How about if you're in a meeting and the meeting's going on and you want to break that fear, just ask a question. Just start simple. Just ask something to get more clarity, a clarifying question. That'll break a lot because you'll be amazed at how many people are just afraid to ask questions because they think they'll sound silly or, because I felt like that. So I know other people feel like that. I ain't the only person in this world.
I know,
but
that's right.
Starting with asking a question. And here's how I learned that. I learned that from watching a leader who I truly admired. I call her the leader who changed my life. So I used to watch her, and this lady was exceptional in her leadership ability, her skills, her knowledge, and all of that. She was great. But when we got in meetings and stuff, one thing about her that I really admired was that she was not afraid to ask a question. That's it. She was saying, what do you mean by XYZ? Or, okay, can you explain what that means a little more or clarify that? And that's okay to do. That's when I realized it's okay to do this. Because it's so many other people in there wish they had the boldness and the gall to ask a question, And so just by doing that alone, asking a simple question is breaking off barriers, not only in ourselves, but it's helping us set other people free too. So that was my advice for that.
I love that. I love how you really just made that actionable, and hopefully y'all got that, because that was a wonderful gem to have. Even if you're starting out, just ask a clarifying question. Something so simple. Again, it could all be so simple, given the tools and given the information. So I appreciate you giving the folks something to walk away with this morning. So you talk about in your book different frameworks, and one of them is the lead from within framework. And I think you alluded to it earlier, like everything starts from the inside. So if you could just briefly tell us a little bit about break that down for us.
Yeah, for sure. So it's really like I would say maybe like an 8-part framework, right? Okay. So I have myself some notes because I have so much information in my mind from this. But the first thing that we have to start doing with this lead from within framework is we have to begin to change the narratives that are going on. It starts there. So a lot of the fears behind getting into leadership, stepping into leadership, or preparing oneself for leadership is starting within. And I think that leadership in general, being a leader, starts within. That's what I truly believe that. The title can't make me a leader. People's accolades don't make me a leader. My leadership skills, abilities, and desire and confidence is all housed on the inside, and it's going to start there. The second thing is to embrace the growth process. And so I say that because we have to, as we're either new in leadership or going through different seasons of leadership, there's always this learning curve. There's always time to give yourself grace and space. That grace has to be extended not only to my team and the people that's messing up, but I got to give grace to myself. So understanding that I'm not going to step into this leadership space knowing everything, take that pressure off yourself. Relieve yourself of that. You're not going to know it all. You ain't going to have all the answers. You're not going to be able to just come down the line with this. So embrace the growth process and give yourself grace. That's part 2, right? The third thing is what I call listening to your internal GPS. And the GPS for me is God provided system. Listen to that. Listen to the instructions that's going on in your mind that's helping to navigate, as you navigate different challenges day by day. Like when I first started in my leadership role, and where I pulled a lot of these practices from, just looking back, and I'm like, okay, this is how I got over. And so the GPS, the internal GPS, God provided system, is what helped me every day, because every day I'm facing these different challenges with processes, with team, with people, and I'm like, I don't know how to handle this. I got 2 staff members in my office wanting to claw at each other, and I'm like, on the inside, it has to be a conversation. On the inside, I'm talking about one that people can't hear. Lord, what in the world? How do I handle this? Okay, so every day I'm praying and having the ask for direction and guidance, just like how we would a GPS. So that's on the inside of us. That ability is on the inside of us, and we have to tap into it. So listening to our internal GPS. And then the fourth one is dealing with people, what Jesse is super good at, right? Connecting people and being warm and tearing down those walls. So that's a part of that, leading with warmth and not walls. So lighten up. Don't take yourself so seriously. Build connections with people. Eat the crumbs off the table if you have to. Like, it's okay. If you got a little indigestion, whatever. It's okay if people hear that. Like, realize that you are regular and human and a person just like these other people, no matter what level they are on. So starting to build connections with people and lighten up. I took myself way too seriously. I was stiff, rigid, and trying to carry on an image, but I was crumbled up and insecure on the inside. In leadership, by the way. In leadership, okay? And so the fifth one I say is release, forgive, and re-engage. Now, this is a big one. Forgive, release, and re-engage. Because as we navigate not just leadership, but any job, there are going to be opportunities for offense. You're going to get offended somewhere, somehow, by somebody. And in order for us to continue growing and even to become a confident leader, there's going to have to be times where we got to let go of those offenses. We have to forgive, release it, and then re-engage in the journey, re-engage in the position. And when we don't, I can stay on this for a little bit, but I'm gonna turn my plow in just a little while. I'm gonna turn it. But when we don't forgive and we're carrying around offenses on our job, it's a nasty situation. We might be pretending that we okay, we showing up, but on the inside, it's just a lot of misery, agitation, irritation, and frustration going on. And eventually that starts to seep out.
And you don't want to be there.
You don't. And then and the story that goes along with this that comes to my mind that I experienced with this was, I remember there are so many times that I've been overlooked for positions, but I remember this one like particular time we were called to a meeting, y'all, and every director, if there was more than a director, everybody that was on some type of leadership level got bumped up, right? It was this widespread announcement like, oh, Director so-and-so is now VP of strategic, blah, blah, blah. And everybody's name got called except mine. Oh. I was in a good position too. Why didn't I get bumped up? Y'all, I was so offended. You talking about offend? I was offended. And I was offended because these people who I served on the same line with, what was it that got them promoted? Why y'all did this whole organization uprise, but I got left, I'm still in the same title and same position. Like, what's going on? And I carried that offense. That might sound little to some people, but it was big to me at the time, Saints.
Mhm.
And I carried that offense for a long time. Why did I carry it though? Because I didn't even have I would say I didn't have the maturity to have the conversation with my supervisor. I was a director. I could have went up to my supervisor, scheduled a meeting, whatever, and just simply asked. I recognize that everyone's gotten promoted. What's going on? Just ask for clarity. Ask for some and I didn't have that maturity. For me, I didn't have that development. So it was like, oh, you don't challenge people. You don't, everything is like a fight or whatever, argument, or it's gonna get you rolled up. It's gonna lead to something bad. So I approached it in that way. And because I approached it in that way, I had all kinds of offense in my heart. Now I'm going to work. Yeah, I'm showing up every day. I'm still going. I'm still doing my job. But I'm looking around like, oh, y'all tried me. You know what I'm saying? Anybody here relate to what I'm talking about today?
Mm-hmm.
This is real stuff. So I'm
Absolutely.
looking all across. I'm in meetings looking crazy now. I'm sitting back. They still eating crumbs. And I'm still looking like, oh, y'all, I'm thinking all this stuff in my head. And I'm feeling like I'm ostracized or I'm being picked. I feel like I'm the red-headed stepchild and all this. Like, man, it's time to break free from that. So I spent too many years just miserable on my job because I was offended. I could have released that. I could have had the conversation and released that. And then when you get some understanding, then you could let go. Because all it was, I didn't have understanding. So the next thing I have is change the way you see correction. We talked about that a little bit today about feedback. I think we talked about something about feedback or something. If not, then it may have been something that crossed my mind. But change the way you see correction. And then that is embracing that feedback process. And feedback can come from when you get feedback from you at a leadership level or trying to be at one or whatever. Your higher up is giving you feedback. Those performance evaluations make people cringe sometimes, but it is important, right? But when you're in leadership, you got to give it too. Mm-hmm. You have to have the ability to give feedback. So we got to change the way we see it so we have a healthy relationship with feedback and be open. I was not open at all to feedback. When it was time for my evaluation, I was all cringy. And then I didn't even want feedback from my staff. How about that? How about being open to that feedback? Can we handle that? Right. When the people who you lead got feedback for you.
Right.
Y'all, funny story. I remember my staff. We still good on time, Clarice? Because I got time. I got stories today. We good on time?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So I remember, we talking about feedback. I remember being so closed off to feedback that I had a staff member just one day. I'm a leader, right, in this position, and she was working in the department. And so we were having conversations. We would talk about church. And I was like, this lady sent me a link to a video she wanted. She was like, oh, I think you would really get something out of this, right? And it was a link. So she sends me the link, and I opened the link to see the title, and it was something about your leadership, something about leadership, right? And I said, oh, no, ma'am. Now, what you not finna do is try to tell me I'm a bad leader, baby. That's not what's about to happen. So I just politely shut that down because I was so closed off to it. So how can I give feedback in a great way if I can't even get it, if I can't even receive it? Like, what is that about? So I had to change my relationship and the way that I saw feedback. The number 7 one, because it's like an 8-step process, and all 8 of these steps are outlined in the book Winning in Leadership. So stand and speak with authority is number 7, right? So starting to take on the speaking. Now we did talk about this. We talked about this at earlier on. We were talking about just start out with a question. Mm-hmm. Start speaking. Just start releasing that part of yourself and exercising that. Because the more you exercise that ability, the more confident you become. Mm-hmm. So the whole onus of the concept of the book is these are 8 strategies that will help you unlock personal power and lead with confidence. And it's not just leading with confidence at the job, but these same strategies you can take into the work. Take into your home. You can take them into the community. You can take these in church, wherever you are, and you need to lead or in some type of leadership capacity. Use these strategies to help lead with confidence. And then the last one is embrace exposure. Embrace exposure. So we have to get outside of the little corner, 4 walls of our department and think that's just, that's our thing. Start embracing exposure and get exposed to people and places that'll help you think on a higher level, that will challenge where you are and see things on a greater level. I remember hearing one day, and that's when I say hearing, I'm talking about it came from on the inside, sprung up from on the inside. I was in this conference at a convention, and there were well over 10,000 people there. Inside this big auditorium, we waiting for the next session to start. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking around like, what in the world am I doing here? Like these were presidents of countries, business owners. See, I'm talking about people. I'm thinking, what in the world? How did I get here, right? And what I heard is auditorium filled with 10,000 people, but I heard this crystal clear as if the person beside me, who I did not know, leaned over and whispered in my ear. I heard it just that clear. The words were, greater thinking requires greater exposure. I said, run that back. What you said? Greater thinking requires greater exposure. What does that mean? That means in order for me to think higher or for me to challenge any way that I'm seeing life, I have to be exposed to greater. If I'm not exposed to greater, I'll stay on the level I'm on.
Ma'am, I'm about to run in here. I'm about to run in here. You don't see my feet, but I'm about to run in here. Because I think global is about the global exposure. Yes, you're speaking to the choir right now.
We gotta think we have to be exposed to a higher level in order to think on a higher level. And that's a part of the work, Clarice. You mentioned this in my introduction. A part of the work that my husband and I do with our organization Purpose Paths is that Purpose Path was birthed from out of that experience that I'm telling y'all about right now. Those words, greater thinking requires greater exposure. That's where Purpose Paths come from. Because I looked around my community and I saw patterns being repeated. What type of patterns? The children growing, they go through high school, they go through school, they go through high school, and then they get pregnant. They might go to the local college for a little bit, something like that. They might not. They might get a little job. I mean, it's just patterns. And so I saw these patterns and I'm thinking, okay, let me check out parents. Same thing in the parents. So it's just this cycle that's happening in people's lives and they need to be exposed to greater. And so we began to expose them to greater. We begin taking them on college tours. Hey, come go with us over the summer. Let's go on some campuses. Let's do college tours. And y'all, the look on like the kids' eyes, and it wasn't just the children, but their parents came too.
Because they probably hadn't been anywhere or exposed to it or to even share it with their children.
To be on a university campus some of those people, it was their first time stepping foot on a university campus. And so it's like, I'm getting like warm all up down my arms, just thinking about how they just seeing the faces and they just light up. They loved it. They loved that experience. But that was all to create exposure. And with the hope of breaking that cycle. Yes, it's going to take more than just going on a college tour, right? It's going to take a lot more than that. But the exposure begins to happen.
But and you plant that seed. You plant it early. Yep.
Yes. So those are the 8 keys. That was a long answer, but it was a lot more in there other than just a framework, baby. If you were listening to that thing.
There were some gems dropped. Definitely. Well, and I love that just even the way you explained this through your coaching approach, that you're not just teaching the theory, you're creating the safe space for folks to really practice these skills. So once they are exposed to them or once they learn what they are, then they can practice them. and not be afraid of then using them in the various venues that they may come across.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that. So before I wrap up, I want to ask you something that we've had a few guests on here that I try to ask everybody. So for someone listening right now who recognizes themselves in everything we've talked about, maybe they're sitting there thinking, and I know we had somebody said that I'm in the same place right now. Maybe they're sitting there thinking, this is exactly what I needed to hear. What's the one thing you want them to remember from our conversation today?
Ooh, if one little piece of advice, I'm gonna leave a quote. I'm gonna leave a quote by Dr. Cindy Trim. And the quote is, you have the power to not only change yourself, but to change the world around you.
Mm.
That's the quote that I would leave for that person. Recognizing that you have the power to not only change yourself, but to even change the world around you, what you're experiencing, what you're encountering. You have the power to impact and to influence and to transform. You got the power to shift the atmosphere. You do. You have that. And so that's what I would leave.
That is fabulous. Now, where can our listeners connect with you, learn more about your leadership consulting services, and get their hands on that book, Winning in Leadership?
100%. So I am on social media, right? Let me give y'all the steps of my social media. I love Instagram. Instagram is so fun to me. So Instagram at Japera K Barnes. All of these platforms are going to be at Japera K Barnes. Facebook as well at Japera K Barnes. Also LinkedIn, on LinkedIn at Japera K Barnes as well. And then my website. My website is a good place to learn more. So it's japerakbarnes.com.
And all of that is in the description of
perfect.
All the platforms. So yeah, you can get
that. Is where you can find the book. The book is called Winning in Leadership. It is 8 strategies to unlock your personal power and lead with confidence. The book is available on Amazon. And so that's how you can find me.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Jesse, do you have any additional questions or thoughts or comments?
This was great. And I have a question. On your do you have like gift certificates for sessions?
I know.
You know people that need it.
Listen, everything is affordable and accessible, y'all. It really is affordable.
In the holiday season, you can give these as gifts.
I'm glad you asked that, because maybe I need to have some coupons or something. Some kind of gift certificate for these sessions.
No, because the reason why I'm asking, in all honesty, seriously, because I do like the education for nurses, and I get a lot of very, very highly educated women, and they need to go into leadership.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of them are afraid. So that's why I'm asking.
Well, send them my way. We can definitely create something for this platform and for whoever you serve as well, Jesse. But I have a gift for everybody, if that's okay. I do have a gift, so it's enough to get started. Yeah, I saw that scripture pop up in there.
Hey.
There we go. That's right. So a gift for you all, for those who are watching, listening. Please do. You can download. I have a free gift. It's called the Leadership Confidence Toolkit. That's available for you, free download. And then also on that same, along those same lines, is you can book a free leadership call with me. It's a nice, beautiful session. Yeah. Where we get to talk about your challenges, what's going on, and how I can, possibly serve you, and how we can work together. So it's a beautiful opportunity to connect and just share and get some insight on maybe what's going on in your situation. So here's how they can get that in. And Clarice, I don't know if I can type in the chat or if somebody can put it in there for me, but it's japerakbarnes.com/gift. For all of you who are watching today, I'm talking about being engaged. Y'all have a good audience.
Yeah.
A
Okay,
good
hold on.
That's
audience. Oh,
wonderful. Thank
yes.
you.
On a Saturday morning, folks
On a
showing up.
Saturday evening, showing up. Yes,
It's
yes.
hard to pull people. It's hard to pull people in that's been working all week. And then they come on the weekend too, early in the
Yeah.
morning.
Because they know we got some tea and we talking about some things, and it's real
Oh,
over here. It's real
I
over here.
love it. I love what you all are doing. And I heard you've been doing this for quite some time. I
Yeah,
absolutely love it because it's
yeah,
real and it's relatable and it's relevant. And I think
absolutely.
that's what people are attracted to that. Like Jesse said, you were talking earlier about all the higher ups and it's just stiff and stuff. That's not relatable. I remember hearing someone say, no one can relate to perfection. Nobody
Mhm.
can. So it's no need to try to be perfect. Just be yourself. And that's what people can connect with and draw to. So I thank y'all for what you're doing, how you're creating this space for that.
Yeah.
Y'all the dope. That's right.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Well, Dr. Japera, this has been absolutely incredible. It has exceeded what I thought it would be. And so, even though we did it on a dime, I appreciate you and your time.
Yes.
Thank you so much for not only writing the book, but creating the coaching programs and the leadership development opportunities that we all actually desperately need. And some of us probably didn't even realize we needed it until we heard from you. So we appreciate having you here. Um, I am so inspired right now. Like I said, you didn't see my feed, but you know, I'm all about the global reach and experiences. So this has been good for me. I needed this. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I got my gems. I got mine. I got mine. Hope you got yours. And you know, you've given us such practical wisdom. And honestly, when you have the right guidance and coaching, and advancing from, you know, being that technical person to going to the confident leader, again, with those tools, with the understanding and the information, that really it all starts from within, but you need to kind of get that, hear from that inner voice, and then practice it. It could all be so simple. So again, if you are ready to take that next step, check out Dr. Barnes' book, Winning in Leadership, and reach out to her. Don't forget your free gift that she has all blessed us with. Um, and reach out to her about her leadership coaching services and that 4-week development program. Again, I do have the links in the description, but in the comments is the information about her gift. I will also link that after the show in the description as well. So, yes. So don't forget, everyone, to subscribe to the Saturday Morning Tea. Leave us a review. You know how much that means to us. And share this episode. Now, this is for real a shareable, because it's relatable not only to us in the health information profession, but really to anyone who may need to hear Dr. Barnes' message. All right, all right. Well, this has been Clarice,
Wonderful.
Girl with the Pearls, reminding you that excellence is not an accident, it's a choice. And Professional Reimbursement Network is here to support you in every step of the way. See how we bring people to you? We bring them to you one way or another. So join our community at Professional Reimbursement Network, LLC. We provide ongoing education, compliance updates, and practical strategies for navigating this complex environment of healthcare revenue cycle, so you don't have to figure this out alone. Let's see, where are all of the things that I'm supposed to have ready? Okay, there we go. And there we go. All right. So, if you are thirsty for fresh perspectives on the healthcare revenue cycle, by becoming one of the PRNT sippers, you'll join a community of sharp minds who savor the complexities of the healthcare revenue cycle. So why sip alone when you can steep in knowledge together? Come, let's spill the tea on the industry insights. And here's what you can expect as a valued member of the PRNT sippers: exclusive healthcare insights. So gain access to in-depth articles, webinars, and resources covering the latest healthcare trends, compliance updates, and revenue cycle best practices. Early access: be the first to receive expert insights and guides, ensuring you stay ahead in the ever evolving healthcare industry. Personalized support, enjoy direct access to our team of experts for guidance on medical coding, compliance issues, and revenue cycle management. We now got leadership development over here. We're here to answer your questions and support your professional growth. And then my favorite, the community connection. Join a private community of healthcare professionals where you can network, share experiences, and collaborate on finding solutions to common challenges. So by supporting us, you're not only advancing your healthcare knowledge and career, but also contributing to the success of the Professional Reimbursement Network, LLC, a resource that empowers healthcare professionals like you to thrive in their roles, goals, and dreams. So thank you for considering becoming a member of the Tea Sippers. For as little as $1 per month, you can join the community. So check out the link in the description. I got the QR code there for you as well. Your support means the world to us, and we look forward to helping you excel in the world of health information and healthcare revenue cycle. For our Saturday morning tea family, thank you for spending your Saturday morning with us. I know your time is precious, and we don't take it lightly that you chose to spend it here with us. At the Saturday Morning Tea, we're all about building a community of savvy, informed, marketable healthcare professionals. So like, share, subscribe, and comment, and let's grow this community together. Mr. Jesse, do you have any closing thoughts for today?
This was great. Dr. Japira, thank you so much for your time and your expertise. I really enjoyed it.
Yes, yes. Like I said, I got some gems. And y'all know I always have paper. I got paper. I got notes. It's all good. It's all good. I love it. Thank you so much. We had our session this week, and I said, you know what? I don't have a topic. How about you? And that's how we got this together on the fly in the middle of the week. But I so much appreciate you saying yes. It was just with that yes. So here we are today. I love it. I love it. And we still have so much more to do. So we will definitely be continuing to connect. She says, thank you. Thank you. Yes. So keep in mind, you already have everything you need to lead with confidence. You just might need the right coaching to unlock it. So tune in next week as we will be discussing another hot healthcare informational topic that you won't want to miss. So this is Clarice Warner, the girl with the pearls, reminding you to stay educated and stay elevated. And that in healthcare, knowledge isn't just power, it's protection. Remember to be safe, be kind, and don't wish for it, work for it. Until next time, take care. Y'all stay in the room. Take care.